sign the slips.
Is he not coming? Good evening. Please turn off your phones. Welcome to the July 3rd, 2024 regular meeting of Eureka Springs Historic District Commission. I'm Dee Bright, Chair. Commissioners present tonight are Maggie Hay, Christine Sanamore, Susan Daniel, Debbie Davis. Frank Green is absent with notice. We have a quorum for business. The Eureka Springs Historic Commission is empowered by the Eureka Springs Municipal Code to issue a certificate of appropriateness for alterations of exterior architectural features, demolition, and new construction within the boundaries of Eureka Springs Historic District. The HDC uses Eureka Springs Historic District guidelines and the U.S. Department of Interior standards for the rehabilitation of historic buildings as the basis for all decisions. The Commission can take the following actions on an application: approval with modifications, denial or deferral for more information. Appeal of denial may be made to the Circuit Court. Public comments will be heard on each agenda item as it is called. Each person may make one comment. Other public comments will be heard during the public comment period. Are there any changes or additions to tonight's agenda? And we do have one, approval of the minutes for June 5th. We'll have to move to 2 weeks meeting because Frankie's not here and two people that are here tonight were absent on that meeting. So we'll remove that. Any other changes to our agenda? May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented and changed?
So moved. Second.
Debbie made the motion. Christine seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. Approval of application does not excuse applicants, owner, or agent from compliance with any of our other applicable codes, ordinances, or policies of the City of Eureka Springs. Okay. We have no old business. New business. Level 2, 298 North Main. Gillette, owner, applicant, renovation of auxiliary structure, removal of upper walkway, balcony, removal of stairs. Level 2, 42 Prospect, Becker, owner, Quebeca, applicant, renovation of existing porch. Level 2, 104 Wall, Irwin, owner, applicant, design plan modification. Level 2, 110 Wall, Grosshans, owner, applicant, design, plan, modification. Okay. On our first item is 298 North Main. Do we have someone present? You would come up and state your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Jack Burden. I live at 57 County Road 2071, Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
The application is for renovation of deteriorated shed, removal of stairs, and walkway. Kyle?
Mr. Burden is the contractor representing the property owner. The application is seeking to renovate the ancillary structure, remove part of this walkway, and remove the stairs on the north side. This structure was built about 1990. Inappropriate construction methods in the past have led to accelerated decay on the ancillary structure. Building code requires separation from the residential structure and the ancillary structure. Proposal to renovate the ancillary structure includes a 5-foot separation between the existing residential structure and the new ancillary structure wall. Looking to remove approximately 13 foot from the upper walkway, removal of the stairs on the north side of the building. This proposal can be appropriate with the character of the historic district. This proposal will bring the structure into safety compliance, and staff does recommend approval of this agenda item.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to move.
I'll read the sample motion
Oh, my gosh, I'm sorry.
down at the bottom of the front page.
Thank you. I move that the Eureka Springs Board of Zoning Adjustment,
Oh, sorry. Change that to Historic District Commission. Sorry.
okay, Board, Eureka Springs Historic District Committee approve the zoning variance.
Oh,
That's not right.
yeah, just application.
Okay, application proposed at 298 North Main based on the agreed upon summary of facts as presented. Sorry, sleeping over here.
Do I have
I was sleeping over here, sorry.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Maggie made the motion. Christine seconded. Is there discussion or questions?
And I think there are people here for public comments on
Oh,
some of these
okay.
applications, so if we could just check on each
Is
one
there
also.
somebody for public comment on 298 North Main? Okay. Maggie made the motion. Christine seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
and happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th. Okay. The next is 42 Prospect. It's rehabilitation of porch, roof, and replacement of stone pillars. And Kyle will do our summary of facts.
Application for 42 Prospect, seeking to rehabilitate the porch roof and replace the stone pillars. This structure was built about 1890, Victorian style, and the wraparound porch at street level is unique with the masonry walls and columns. Inappropriate construction methods in the past have led to accelerated decay in the porch roof. Structural instability of the stone wall compromised the integrity of the stone columns, and then that was repaired last year. Proposal to replace the stone columns, the application is proposed to replace the stone columns with 6x6 cedar posts and recap the existing stone wall with new concrete. Applicant is seeking to remove the existing porch roof, which is to be redesigned to be structurally sound and similar to the previous porch roof line. The stone columns are likely a distinctive feature of the structure, making or adding to its contributing status. There is an email in here from Ralph Wilcox at the Arkansas Historic Preservation Program office. He did state that he has concerns with removing the stone columns from that porch. And then in the proposal, if we retain the stone columns, it can be appropriate with the character of the historic district. And the proposal as submitted could threaten the status of the structure as a contributing to the historic district. Staff makes the recommendation of either approval with modifications to retain the stone columns or denial of the original proposal.
Do I have a motion? I need somebody to read the sample motion on the page so we can discuss.
Yeah, we have to have that. Where is the simple motion?
Yeah, sorry, adjust that Board of Zoning Adjustment to Historic District Commission and remove the zoning variance.
I'm going to move this so that we can move to discussion. I move that the Eureka Springs Historic District Commission approve the application proposed at
Oh, sorry, change that to 42.
42 Prospect based on the agreed upon summary of facts as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now we can discuss.
Discussion?
Do we have somebody here?
Do we have
Yeah.
somebody? I'm sorry.
Hello, my name, can you hear me? My name is Keith Scales. I'm the co-owner of 42 Prospect with Rebecca J. Becker. Our contractor, Steve Kubecki, is unfortunately in hospital with a kidney stone right now. Bad timing. I have here some packets which will demonstrate first that those stone columns were not original to the house. The house stood there for 25 years before they were put on. Second, that they were condemned by Bobby Ray in 2020. And his comment at the time was, they have to be taken down or they will come down of their own accord and probably fall on some passing tourist. So we are in process of taking them down. The question that remains is, what do we replace them with? And as you will see in the packet, the house is a classic craftsman style house, and ubiquitous with that style are these tapering square columns, usually made out of wood with some kind of reinforcement inside. And they are very beautiful, and we would like to replace the stone columns with the tapering craftsman style columns, which will restore the house to its original design. There's, you know, we all love those stone columns in a way, but they are dangerous. They had to come down. And this is an opportunity, I think, to rehabilitate the building and put it back to the way it was originally designed to be, at which point, instead of being a tumble-down cottage between two mansions, which is what it's been, you've all walked along the street, you know what it looks like. Roof caving in and stone columns leaning forward. We want to replace it with something very, very beautiful and in appropriate materials and proportions.
Do we have any earlier pictures than the one that was in the packet with the stone columns? Because I did a site visit. You know, I just went up there, it's down the street from my house, and there are round Victorian columns on the rest of the house. I mean, if indeed those stone columns are not original, then there was Victorian trim. I mean, that house has trim all over it. There was Victorian trim and Victorian columns on the front of that house. I'm not disputing that it didn't have a porch, but I agree with you that the stone probably was not original to the house.
But do we have any photos? Did you find any photos earlier that showed the porch without the stone?
We have searched all over Eureka Springs and did not find anything that goes back that far. The one thing I do have, which is in this packet, is the footprint from the Sanborn maps, which changed between 1909 and 1914, and shows that there was a major addition. And it was at that point, I'm sure, that the columns would have been added. They are absolutely in violation of the style of the house, and since they are coming down because of condemned, I think this is an opportunity to rehabilitate the whole building. Does that answer your question?
It does in a way, but I don't think that 6x6 cedar posts are appropriate when you have round Victorian columns on the rest of the structure.
There's, in the packet here, there are a couple of examples of craftsman porch columns, and Rebecca wanted me to invite everybody to open up their cell phones, punch in craftsman porch, and see what comes up. And I know you just said turn the phones off, so you'll see dozens, if not hundreds, of craftsman houses with these tapering columns. We talked about 6x6, but actually what we're looking at is, I think they're more like a foot square at the bottom and maybe 9 inches at the top. They're very characteristic. They're ubiquitous with craftsman buildings. I have lots of examples in these packets, and that's what we would like to replace them with. The porch around the side has you're right, round columns. I think most of those are added subsequently. We can address that, but what we're talking about tonight is just the front porch. The porch roof has to be replaced, and that has to be supported by something. And we would like to put tapering columns on there.
I agree, the porch needs to be replaced. It's needed it for quite some time.
Just a moment, I need to see if there's anybody that has public comment, want to comment on this that's in the audience? Is there anyone? Okay, then we can go on with our discussion. I just wanted to get that in.
I just would hate to jeopardize the contributing status of this house by doing what you checked on.
And one other question, you said you have a letter from, I don't see it in my packet.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not include it in the packet. But yes, I do have an email from Ralph Wilcox.
Could you read Ralph's?
I do not have it with me.
You don't have it with you?
If I may, Kyle, we heard two different things from Little Rock. One was that they did not want us to mix and match. Our original intention was just to take down the 4 columns, which were dangerous, and leave the stone on the end because we like the stone. Apparently, Little Rock didn't want us to mix and match columns. They said one or the other. I really don't see any point in putting back a system that has already failed. It's already, because the roof is pushing out the columns were pulling on the roof, and the whole thing was terribly distorted, and that would happen again if we tried to do that. So we would like to do what was appropriate to the design with powerful columns. So that was one thing I heard, and then the other thing I heard was that they were concerned about losing the stone altogether. Well, we're keeping the wall, and we could keep the side columns and just replace the ones in the middle, or we could replace all the columns with tapering, which I think would actually be more in keeping. And to your point, what we're hoping, there's more work to do, there's deck work to do, and the gardens have yet to be brought up to standard. But what we would like to do is then apply for historic building, HDC, for to get on the historic register. So we may lose the contributing, but we would gain historic building because it would be authenticated.
We don't want to lose the contributing.
Yeah, if you lose the contributing,
That's
more than likely
our whole historic district in Eureka Springs.
Yes, and you won't get the historic. That's
Keith,
property.
Did you look at round columns?
Did we look at round columns?
Yeah, did you?
Well, we looked at a lot of different kinds of columns, and we went away from the round just because we found that the tapering are so typical of craftsman houses.
Do you really feel like that's a craftsman house, though? Every other aspect of the house, and particularly because of the time period when it was built, is Victorian.
It's Victorian. This is right here.
It's a Victorian house.
It's listed on your charts as craftsman, and again, I have pictures in the packet here to show you.
Sorry, let me just clarify. So the records in my office show it's listed as Victorian, as well as the state office records show it's listed as Victorian. I think there's some confusion with the change in the porch. It has more of a maybe arts and crafts design to it, or craftsman, but that change doesn't change the overall Victorian design.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did you talk to the people that's at the state about possibly going back to a Victorian porch rather than the stone, or they were just concerned about the stone?
Yeah, they didn't say anything about reverting back to what would have been original. If this change happened 25 years after the house was built, it still fits in the period of significance and could be an architectural feature by itself, separate from the rest of the house, if that makes sense.
So do you remember exactly what Ralph was? I value Ralph's.
Yeah, it was really
opinion.
short. He didn't say no, but he said if the stone was removed, it would be concerning.
Do you think he means all the stone?
Yeah, we could ask him for clarification if you want.
Does it hold you up if we postpone this and dig more?
Well, it's in process, and
I'm just asking.
Yes, it would hold us up, and it would hold our contractor up who has other jobs lined up behind us.
Isn't half the porch already gone? They've already taken it down?
Yeah, they've taken the
The
porch.
roof is gone, yes.
And the columns are gone on the front?
I believe 2 of them are, yes.
I'd like to have us send a picture of the front of it now with all that gone, because it's much more clear what the original structure of the house looked like, and ask them for their input on what would keep it as a contributing structure.
Yeah, we could definitely check on that.
My biggest worry with so many structures in town is we are losing our contributing gradually. And if we ever do this survey again, just because things on East Mountain turn 50 years does not make it historic or contributing, because so many things on East Mountain, as we know, has had things done. So most of those will be gone in and checked, and they will not be contributing. Just me sitting here for so many years in site visits, I was thinking about this all the other day, and I thought, we're not going to gain probably very many properties. So everything we have that's contributing right now, we have to be very careful, or it's going to mess up our historic status with the state
And national.
and national, yeah. So we do need to be very careful from, forward with every house, not just this one, but with everything in this town.
Well, this is one house that would be restored, and it's got a mansion on each side of it, then you would have 3 mansions in a row.
It just needs to be restored appropriately according to the state guidelines, state and national guidelines, so they won't take it off of contributing.
I would love to work with the HDC and find the compromise that we can make to satisfy their requirements. I do sort of insist that that rock wall had nothing to do with that structure. Somebody thought it was a good idea at the time. It was structurally unsound, but it also has got nothing to do with the craftsman or Victorian style.
I tend to agree with you on that.
Yeah, we're not arguing that point.
Yeah, we're not
with you.
arguing that point, but that's why I think it would
But
behoove
from this
us.
photo that we've been given, it calls it a rustic Victorian, but then I think they're calling it rustic because of all the stonework at one time, and that was probably not original to the home. We're agreeing.
Yeah, I think that's from Mr. Cross's calendar.
Yeah.
I think that's all he could think of
That's
to
why the
call it.
hole's in at the top.
Yeah, I think he didn't know what else to say about it.
That could be.
But Kyle, if we got input from the people at the state, they probably would be more likely to work with us on keeping it contributing if they...
Yeah, we can then definitely ask them for guidance on what we can do to keep it contributing.
It might just delay it a few days. I mean, we could always have a quick special meeting, maybe.
And we got a holiday here.
Yeah, we've got a holiday, but I want to do this right, and I just hate to jeopardize it.
Can we let him go ahead and tear down like because we all pretty well in agreement with the rock. Probably needs to go, right? But it's the columns putting them back. I don't know where the compromise.
Well, if he's doing gardens in the back, couldn't he reuse that rock in the garden?
I actually have. I have a rockery. I built a rockery in my backyard.
It's such a beautiful porch, and it's been on there. We used to come in the 60s, and it's been there for as long as I can remember like that.
I think it has to come down because it's unsafe.
Yeah.
Do what?
It's unsafe.
Well,
Yeah, it was condemned. It had to come down.
you guys seen it since it's been torn down?
I don't know what's on the back of the house.
It's got a lot of trim, a lot.
But I mean, like in terms of the columns?
No, there's nothing on the back of the house.
Sorry, will you guys speak into the mic so we can hear you?
The columns on the side porch are round and Victorian in style.
Okay.
And there is a kind of a decorative railing on the back. And you can tell where there's been trim, Victorian trim, all over that house.
But on the side that could be visible from the street and or walking by, you can see the Victorian natural
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
columns.
I mean, I couldn't really get out and walk around. I drove around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's been there forever and ever
I
and ever,
know.
but I don't recall the side porch. So
if you
I
look
wish we
at-
had a picture of that.
If you look at some of, let's see if I can find the picture here.
Well, shall we just vote on it and see what you guys decide?
Well, I want to withdraw my motion because I really don't want to approve it.
Well,
We're asking for a delayed
we
vote,
have
if
to
you like.
make the motion, then you vote how you
Okay.
want. That doesn't
Okay.
matter. We're just making the motion so we can have a discussion.
Can I distribute these packets? It answers a lot of the things.
You have a packet for us?
Yes, we have a
Oh,
whole new
okay.
packet.
Yes, please let us see those.
Pictures. Look at that fence on the, or railing on the back.
So this includes the Sanborn map. It shows condition. It shows our house as it stands now. It's already taken down. On the same page as a very typical craftsman house. On the back of that, it shows all the damage, the reason it was condemned. And the last page is all about craftsman houses and the kind of columns that go on it.
Because really, if you look at this house, the closer you look at it and take away the stone and just look at the wood inside, it definitely looks Victorian. And it's a smaller scale than the house next door, but you kind of see the same Victorian of the two homes together.
Yeah.
And if you want to change, I mean, all we have to do is have Christine, you second it, right? Just remove her second and you can we'll just remove this motion, but for discussion, and you can reword it any way you want for voting purpose.
Oh, sorry if I can. By the way, it's just the columns that are coming down. The wall is staying, and the wall is all
Right.
stone.
When you say wall, are you talking about...
Sorry, will you speak into the mic?
Sorry. When you say wall, are you talking about the floor down?
I'm sorry, the wall?
Yeah, are you talking about the stone wall?
The stone wall that's like 3 feet high, that
It's-
remains.
Back picture.
The only thing that goes are the columns that were standing on it, kind of balanced on it.
So there'll be a, 2.5 foot across the front of the house of stone?
Yes?
And this is, I don't know if you can see what I'm looking at. This is the side of the house, right?
No, that's the front.
No, I think that's the front.
Front.
It's the front.
I think. Which picture is it?
Yes, that's the side.
Oh, yeah, that's the left side as you're looking at the...
Yeah.
But I think that the
But if
columns
we
you were talking about...
think
on the
it's
right side,
Victorian.
Yes, they are on the right
which is
side.
the roundabouts.
So this won't come down.
No, that won't come down. And we do preserve the stone.
Dee, this is designated currently as a Victorian. Okay.
That's what Kyle says,
Yeah.
the info that he has.
I'd like to amend my
Office.
motion, if I can.
Yes. Christine, will you remove your second?
Okay.
I remove my second.
Thank you.
All right. I would like to move that the Historic District Commission postpone a vote on this until we can get input from the state on what would help this structure remain a contributing structure to our historic district.
Second.
Okay, the motion's still by Debbie and seconded by Christine. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. So motion carries 4-0.
Thank you all very much.
And
Hope the
then
packet
hopefully
helps.
maybe next week it'd have to be Wednesday or later because you don't get home
I will be back on Thursday,
on
yes.
Thursday.
Yeah.
So maybe we could do a special meeting.
I will send an email to this Ralph tonight, so he can be working on that, and we'll have an answer.
And Ralph is very good. I mean, I respect his opinion greatly. I don't know how long he's been with the state, but longer than I've been here. So I mean, I really appreciate his knowledge.
Would it be appropriate for me to go down and talk to him and show him the same packet and
Sure.
give the same reasoning?
Yeah, you could call and contact him.
If you would like that email I send, I will just copy you on it, and then you guys can have a conversation. Does that work for you?
That would be a great start.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
Ralph
I'll-
has come up here, like from the school when we were tearing it down. He came up many times trying to save our school and all. So I respect his knowledge on trying to save things in town.
Well, I look forward to meeting him. So does this mean that we still have a stop work until next Wednesday?
Can they work on some things, Kyle?
I would think that if there's work that can be done until we get an answer on the columns, I don't see an issue with that, especially where he needs to seal up your envelope and stuff like that.
So we can keep doing everything except erecting new columns and then putting a roof on, of course?
Yeah, I think that would be okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you guys have any problem with that? No. Should we make a motion?
Well, I'd like to hear from the state,
Yeah.
because they may say the stone is, I mean, we don't know what they're going to say.
Yeah.
I would be hesitant to do any more work on it until we hear back from them.
Yeah.
I would hate for him to do something
Right.
that was not appropriate.
So I think, because there was some siding removed and stuff like that, I think if we can let Steve at least seal up what's been opened so that we can prevent weather from going in, at least get them that far.
You're talking about siding repair on the front?
Yeah, whatever he needs to do to seal up the envelope of the house.
Yeah. That'd be fine.
So where are we at?
If there's work that he can do that doesn't involve the stone or the columns, he's welcome to keep going on that, sealing up the exterior of the structure. But yeah, hold off on the stone or the column work until we get an answer.
Okay. Thank you very much for
Thank
your help and your
you.
support.
Thanks for being patient.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we love the house and we just want to do the right thing by it.
Yeah, I know you love the house. You've done a lot of work on it off and on over the years.
I don't know if this is appropriate, but you know, we bought it as a fixer-upper from Portland, Oregon, sight unseen, after seeing a little video of it, and came to Eureka Springs and fell in love and spent the next 15 years fixing her up. And, so there's more to do, but the big thing is the appearance from the street is what we are concerned about.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks.
Our next one is 104 Wall Street. Do we have someone here for that? Would you want to come up and state your name and address? This is modification to approved design plan.
Amelia Irwin, 104 Wall Street.
And Kyle, do you want to read the summary of facts?
The applicant is looking to modify the design plan that was approved in September of 2023. It was approved as a level 3 new construction. In the packet, I've included the original design that was approved, as well as the property owner's letter of explanation of what happened with the contractor. She has submitted a modified design plan for what the current design is and how to finish it off. The proposed design plan can still fit with the character of the historic district. Oh, and staff does recommend approval, yes.
Okay, does somebody want to read the, and just take out the zoning? I'm sorry,
I
guys.
move
My bad.
that the Eureka Springs Historic District approve the application proposed at 104 Wall based on the agreed upon summary of facts as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Questions?
So, yeah, I went by there today, and it looks very plain compared to what you had originally submitted. Are you not going to complete it like it was originally submitted now?
Unfortunately, what happened was we often do our own. I've been doing property management stuff for a very long time. My husband's a handyman, he's very capable of doing a lot of these things, but we had several projects going on at once. And so we went ahead with a contractor and one that was available quickly. And I would like to state his name so that y'all can be aware of this contractor, if that's okay. With Buck Mountain Construction. Because what ended up happening is we had this design plan. I mean, he had it in his possession for quite some time. And what the design plan showed was that on the facade of the house, we would be using, for the lack of the official word, it's the concrete boards. They're like a size of a sheet of plywood, but they're concrete boards. And on top of those concrete boards were supposed to be these vertical decorative elements to reflect the Victorian, the B&B. And so, until the siding went up, it was very hard for us to see that that wasn't happening. It was very hard for us to know that because the construction seemed quality enough from the ground up, that the actual aesthetic design would be completely and utterly ignored, unfortunately. And so what he ended up doing was putting this vertical, same hardy board type of material, but it's in in this horizontal form. So like siding sheets, which is still in character with the neighborhood, but it wasn't until that all went on, and it took us a while to get our design back from him because we fully trusted that, okay, we're handing this off to a contractor, let him do his work. But after it did go up and we got back our design, after having slept for a while, we could see that clearly it was ignored. I mean, fully and utterly ignored. So we got back with Chris Bradley, who has been a contractor in Eureka for a long time, and he also does really beautiful design work. I thought, oh, Chris, save us here, because he's very familiar with the design of Eureka Springs, and so he was able to create a few different drafts, and this is the one we landed with, which is in your packet, of a way to keep it within the character of the neighborhood and also not have to remove everything But yeah, we will have to remove quite a bit of the front so that it isn't just looking like a 1990s garage.
All right, we've got several things here. Which one?
So it was
Sorry,
supposed to.
will you
it
speak
was,
into your mic?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it a garage? Is it a
It's
living? What
It's
kind
a
of
house.
building is it?
It is an innkeeper's unit, so to stay in compliance with the bed and breakfast rules and regulations in Eureka Springs, we have an on-site innkeeper. What we found is that innkeeper always, ends up, we have a family, and I don't think people would want a vacation with my little boys being loud around them. But, so we have hired innkeepers, and each time they end up wanting their own personal space, which is completely understandable, but it really throws our business off. So when we had the opportunity to build an additional structure that could house comfortably an innkeeper, and we could take the current innkeeper's section of the home and turn it into a room which would generate income, we were hoping that we could kind of balance out the expense with the income that would bring in and make everyone more comfortable, help our business be more sustainable, and be able to keep a very happy innkeeper. So that was the intention of the build.
Kyle, is
Yeah,
this?
so in your application, or in the application packet, there's the photo of how the house currently sits. The one right after that is the new design proposal.
Okay.
And then everything after that is the original application that was approved.
Okay. All right.
Would you like for me to discuss the design elements on the front that would change from its current structure from how you drove by today, or is that clear?
No, I can see, and yeah, I agree with you.
Do you guys have any other questions? Still looking at your packets?
I just couldn't tell which one
Yeah, I
was
know.
the new one.
so the original design was supposed to be like board and batten, that style.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that term exactly.
Similar to that, but with the concrete board, yeah.
Okay.
Probably hardy board and,
Well, Hardy Board's a brand, but yeah,
and strapping or whatever you
most
call it.
everybody knows it by Hardy Board, but it's concrete board.
Yeah.
I will say that the house next door on the other side to us, they have, so if you're looking at the bed and breakfast, and you have the bed and breakfast, or on your side it would be the bed and breakfast, and then the new construction, and then the house right here. The side of that house that faces the new construction also has this new style design with it has the horizontal siding with the vertical board and batten, I guess, on the top. And then we would need to add the framing around the windows, and so those would be compatible. So before, the board and batten of the entire front of the structure was supposed to mimic the B&B. So this would be mimicking, but mimicking kind of the house on the other side. Yeah.
It probably blends in with the neighborhood. I mean, and that's what we're supposed to look on new construction. Does it fit? Does it blend?
Yeah.
And we sure don't
Is
want
this
it-
wall house the purple house, or is the other one the purple house?
The purple house is the bed and breakfast
Is that-
that this goes to.
That's 104. Okay, thank you.
And this replaced kind of a shed garage thing that was demolished to build this, and it was in bad shape. I mean, I drive that road every day, so. Okay, any other questions of her? Okay, Maggie made the motion, Christine seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. them?
Haven't got that far yet.
Okay, 110 Wall Street. Do we have someone? Would you state your name and address, please?
David Grossons, 110 Wall Street.
Okay. Kyle, would you read the summary of facts, please?
Yes, the applicant at 110 Wall Street is looking to also modify design plans that were originally approved. It is a non-historic accessory dwelling unit modification that was submitted as a level 2 application in May of this year. The proposal included moving the rear wall out 4 foot, increasing the pitch on the roof. From that design, the contractor strayed from the approved building design. Stop work order was issued for code violations last month. Applicant is seeking approval for a modified design plan to retain its current form, and which has been increased in height from the approved design. The staff cannot recommend approval of this application. If you look on the first photo in the application packet, you can see where the roof hangs over the historic structure. And guidelines discourage that for maintenance reasons. The original design plan on the first sheet of the graph paper in your application packet is what was approved originally. And this is what it had looked like when I had gone out to do the inspection and did approve moving that outside wall out 4 additional feet. Yeah. Here's another one, the colored one, if you want to pass that one around too.
Just driving by, it's difficult to see all of this.
Here, I'll pass this. This is its current.
This is what it looks like currently?
Yes.
This is what it originally looked like?
Originally, yes.
You want to write original at the top so everybody knows it goes around and put current? I do need somebody to make a motion so we can discuss. Oh, is there anyone that has public comment? Come ahead and state your name and address and make your comment. Can you step aside and let him comment, please?
My name is Larry Jones. I live at 108 Wall Street.
Okay.
I have two projects going on each side of me. The one that y'all just saw and then his. The building is far too tall. It was a much smaller back porch room. The bad faith that he has put garden walls, what I was informed it was going to be garden walls. These are 2 enormous platforms. They're tall walls. He should have had a permit for those. I asked him before. He said he didn't. This is not right. It lacks historical character for the neighborhood. These are 2 large platforms now. They're terraces instead of a yard. The addition that he's done, he's rebuilt the small little cottage. It looks like it's 1.5 stories tall, no windows, plywood siding. I don't see how any of it could pass for historical preservation. Thank you.
Thank you. This property was a contributing property?
It is, yes. Yeah.
It is a contributing property?
Yes.
It is, yes.
On the front page, sure. Oh, and if somebody just, make a motion here so we can
Thank you.
discuss, please.
Okay. I move that the Eureka Springs, oh no, this was zoning.
Yeah, just skip the planning zone.
I thought this was going to be easy. We're just moving to discuss, correct?
Yes.
I move that
You can just say we can discuss. Just make a motion. I make
a motion that we discuss the property at 110 Wall Street.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions? I know when I drove by today and looked, the first thing that jumped out at me was the height.
It sticks up above
It sticks
the original
above.
home. You can see it.
On the original plan was 10 feet. The roof now is 12 feet. And
Well, that's 2 feet, sir.
I understand, but the contractor, which I have right here, will help you understand why he had to do what he had to do, because 10 feet would have been right in line.
You should have come back to this commission and told us.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm not from here. I'm from Texas. I've been here for 3 months. I didn't know.
Your realtor, everybody should have told you. I don't know. You're in a Victorian town.
I'm sorry.
And this is a contributing building. Questions?
I would have more inclination to approve the 4-foot addition than I would the up.
Yeah.
Because it really disturbs the roof lines of that whole area.
I was overwhelmed today. I had to have hip surgery 3 weeks ago today, and so I have not been out, and I drove down that, and like I said, I drive that street every day. Obvious in the last 3 weeks I haven't been down that street, and I was shocked.
May I say something?
State your name and address and who you, yeah.
My name's Dan Lewis. I'm a contractor here, and I live on 187 Highway out by Beaver Dam. I have to beg forgiveness in the sense that I don't work in HDC very often, and I'm not familiar with having to check with somebody other than my client as to changes that are made on the fly. So I apologize for that. But when we took the structure apart that it needed to be disassembled to, and determined that extending the existing wall 2 feet was going to basically create a situation where the roofs would collide. We either had to leave the building as it was or go above the other roof so that we didn't have 2 gutters bumping into each other, or have to make a design change in the roof that would allow for the home building to encroach on the soffit area of the new build or the remodel. So it was a change that was made on the fly, and rightly so, we needed to make that change, but we were both unaware of having to come back to HDC for approval. It wasn't a blatant disregard in any way.
Who brought this application in originally?
I did. Mr. Grosshans.
And you sat down with him, Kyle?
I did.
And you came to our table before, and we make it pretty clear that any changes and all, you need to come back to us. So that's, I don't buy that.
So what needs to be done to remedy this problem?
Is there a stop work order on it? Mm-hmm.
There is, yes.
What does it tell us? Do we have a copy of it?
I don't think it was written. I think it was just verbal.
So who's filling in as our building inspector now that we can talk to?
The fire marshal is covering that position right now.
Well, in order for him to be in compliance, it would need to go back to the original plan, right?
Yes. So I would like more information then from the fire marshal, what his recommendation is, since we don't have, he's our acting building official at the moment. What do you guys think?
They look terribly close together. I mean, I
know. Like I said, I was overwhelmed.
Yeah.
This
May
morning.
I make an additional comment? I met with Mr. Coburn at the site, and he gave me instructions as to what needed to be done in regard to fire code in the interior of the building. I will say that Mr. Grosshans has spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to prevent becoming any kind of a neighborhood pariah. He's a professional musician, and he plays drums, and he practices, as all professionals must. And currently, he's practicing in his living room with sound drapes around his drum kit so he doesn't bother the neighborhood. He has gone to extreme measures to soundproof this room that I'm building for him so that he doesn't encroach on anybody's sound ordinances or any of the neighbors, waking them up early. He's up playing drums at 6 o'clock in the morning. So without having anyone complain about the noise that he makes, he's taken it upon himself to see that that doesn't happen. And we have taken measures, or will, to comply with code and make a nice structure there. But it hasn't been because we've been forced to by anyone, or we've ignored any codes or done anything deliberately to...
Well, sir, we have all 5 of us sitting here taken an oath to keep our historic district and go by codes, and this is a contributing structure. That is part of our oath that we've taken, is to protect our contributing properties. And we have to look at it very seriously.
Well, I appreciate what he's done for the noise abatement, but that's not the issue here.
No.
It's the height, right?
Yeah.
So, do I need to tear the structure down?
Sorry, will you speak on the mic there?
Do I need to tear the structure down and start all over again, or?
I want to talk to the fire marshal, who is our standing building official right now, and get his opinion.
Okay.
Because fire safety, all of that safety is out of our realm. We take theirs. We look at whether it's downgrading this property as non-contributing. Does it fit into the neighborhood? Does it mess up the other historic properties in that neighborhood? That's what we're looking at. We have to look at that. And I don't want to make you tear it down. The fire marshal may have other things, but we just learned that we lost our building official, so we did not contact him to be here tonight because I wasn't aware that we needed him.
Because he looked at it too, just to get it the fireproof as much as possible. So he made modifications on it, and we were going to do that, but nothing was talked about the height or anything like that.
So I would like to postpone this so we can talk to him.
Okay, so.
I mean, that's really all we can do tonight unless we just vote to tear it down, but we will try to work with you.
I hate to tear it down. I've already got tens of thousands of dollars in it.
We understand that, but we also got to save our contributing things in town. I mean, we're getting a narrow, fine line of contributing and non-contributing, and we just can't lose anymore.
So when do I need to come back, or
well,
a week or 2 weeks?
Our next meeting is that the 19th?
17th.
17th, okay. And so is there anything I can do prior to the 17th, or
I mean, we could talk with him and get him to get with you.
Okay.
And if there's things, his recommendations, I guess he'd need to pass them to us to vote on, but Kyle can also let us know. Again, we needed to have a special meeting, but
so
we do have a meeting coming up on the 17th.
Is it the 17th, a Monday?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. I'm sorry.
We're the first and the third Wednesdays of the month.
At 6 o'clock. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, we're not trying to be mean. We're just trying to.
I understand. I understand. I'm new to this whole thing, and I thought it was something I could do, and I'm sorry it was modified, but it was going to butt up against the roof of the main house, and we didn't want that. So.
Okay. So, Christine, can you? Because we just made the motion to discuss, so we don't need to remove anything. If somebody would make a motion to postpone this till we find out more from building inspector or the fire marshal, and so we can vote on it.
I'll do it. I move that the Eureka Springs Historic District Commission postpone a decision on the application proposed at 110 Wall Street until we can get further information.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Debbie made the motion. Maggie seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. Okay. So, and Kyle will get with you.
Okay.
I know he's going to be out of the office for a few days next week for health checkup.
Yeah, I will be back in my office on Thursday, yes.
Okay.
But I will send James, Fire Marshal, a message tonight so he can start looking at some stuff.
Sure, I appreciate it. Thank you.
This commission's falling apart, apparently. Everybody else has to stay healthy. Well, Kyle's just getting the
Yeah, just check.
results back. I mean, progress report. So we're excited for him to go get a clean bill of health. Consent agenda. Level 2 and 3 projects that the city preservation officer believes to be in accordance with design guidelines. Any commissioner or member of the public may move any consent item to the regular agenda for discussion. Tonight we had level 2, 110 wall, Grosshans, owner applicant, landscape retaining walls. Did everybody see that folder and sign it? Do I have a motion then to accept this?
I move that we accept the consent agenda as written.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that you, Maggie? Christine made the motion. Maggie seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries 4-0. Administrative approvals, we have 12. They're all on our website. You can go on, but most of them are signs, repaint, just simple things that our city historic preservation officer. Minor impact projects include ordinary maintenance that does not involve a change in materials, new and replacement signs, alterations to non-contributed and or non-historic structures, excluding major additions or demolition, medium impact projects that meet design guidelines. Commissioner business, we've already postponed the minutes till next time. Quick on discussion of forum. Next meeting, Christine and Maggie, would you like to come a few minutes early or stay a few minutes after just to kind of go over everything?
Yeah.
Either one.
Either one?
Yeah, earlier would help.
Okay.
Earlier is better, so you want to come like at 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, okay, so next time we're all going to
Okay.
here at 5. We just need to go, over itineraries, how we're getting to the airport. Oh. The 5 o'clock one? No, it'd have to be one, won't it? Be a special?
No, it won't be a special meeting.
No. Just, it's planning our forum, just our plane flights. Can we meet? We'll check that out and let you know. Probably. Discussion of camp, that's October 3rd through the 4th in Hot Springs. We have a file for that one. Next meeting will be July 17th, 2024. Level 3 applications are due Friday, July 5th. Level 2 applications are due Thursday, July 11th. Agenda settings for July 17th regular meeting. Anybody have something they want to put on there? I mean, we could discuss it at our meeting, but I don't know if everybody wants to know about our flights and what we're packing. Okay, public comments. Everybody left us. Commissioner comments. Susan.
Nothing.
Maggie?
No, thank you.
Christine?
I don't know this information about Jacob. Is this a good time to talk about that, or should we talk about that later?
He's just no longer with the city. Debbie?
Happy birthday, Eureka Springs, tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
Sorry.
it's our birthday, and happy 4th of July, everybody.
Same time.
And Maggie's on the
Mend.
You're done, you're good.
Well, I'm not a very good stair stepper, but
You and I can work together. I'm learning that. She had knee surgery.
Really lucky. And I'm very happy I did this.
I'm glad. She had knee surgery. I had hip surgery 3 weeks ago. So, and Kyle's going to get a clean bill of health, and so maybe this commission won't do any more bones or anything. We'll be good. Do you have comments?
Just thank you, everybody, for being here.
And adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0.